Welcome to Securekloud Technologies, where innovation meets digital transformation.
So good morning, everyone, and welcome to Securekloud's webinar. We are obviously excited to have you with us today. But before we dive into the topic, let's quickly introduce Securekloud. At Securekloud, we've spent over a decade helping businesses make a smooth and secure shift to the cloud. Our goal is to ensure that your cloud experience is not only safe, but also efficient. By staying ahead with the latest trends in cloud technology, AI, and ML, we help our clients stay competitive and ready for the future. We specialize in enhancing security, simplifying operations, and driving innovations, providing the support you need at every step of the way. Now, let's move to today's agenda for our webinar. Elevate your cloud managed services. In this session, we'll explore how cloud managed services can help businesses optimize their cloud environments, improve operational efficiency, and ensure scalability without any complexity. We are pleased to have two experts with us today to share their insights. First, we have Venkat, Chief Revenue Officer at Securekloud. Venkat leads our revenue operations, playing a key role in driving growth and guiding teams through strategic cloud transformation. Joining Venkat is Sriram Sheshadri, Global Leader for Managed Services. Sriram brings a wealth of experience in IT service management, business processes, and project management. We are excited to hear from our speakers as they discuss latest trends, challenges, and opportunities in cloud managed services, and also share their actionable steps to help businesses maximize the value of their cloud investments. We'll also have a Q&A session at the end, so feel free to drop your questions and queries during the webinar, and we'll address them after the presentations. So without any further delay, let's get started with the webinar. Over to you, Venkat.
Hey, hi Tushar. Thanks a lot. Hi everyone. Good morning. Festive greetings. I really appreciate you guys taking time out in the midst of busy schedule, and also there is a US fever election gripping as well as to who's going to win. And also, most importantly, all of us have come back from a very long weekend holiday. Really appreciate each one of you taking time. It's really wonderful to meet you guys again. As you know, we've been doing these series of webinars over a period of time on different subjects. Given the fact that Securekloud is a technology giant, we're looking forward to constantly innovate and excel in whatever products and solutions that we kick it in the market, right? Last time we did a webinar in terms of artificial intelligence and machine learning and how it's impacting the business, and that was really well received. Thanks a lot to the entire enterprises, to the entire customers who kind of came on board, embraced that discussion. In that endeavor, I think we've always been in the pursuit of excellence, right? So in that endeavor, I think this time we are hosting a webinar to understand what's a trend, what are the trends, what's cloud managed services, how it's impacting the businesses, and most importantly, how it's helping businesses scale up and then keep them obviously under the check from a compliance and regulation. So without much ado, I would like to welcome Sriram Sheshadri, who's our global leader for managed services. When we were actually thinking about doing this webinar, we were wondering, okay, what should be the subject? We were wondering whom we should call and stuff like that. But I think it's none other than Sriram, who's an expert. I think he has a wealth of experience, been in the cloud managed services piece for almost lion's share of his experience and career. Thanks a lot, Sriram, for joining in. Really appreciate you taking out your time. I think without much ado, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just jump in, right, in the interest of the time. Sri, I think you've seen over a period of time cloud managed services evolving, right? The evolution, as we say, of cloud managed services. How you see it through your eyes, and in a way, that's the first question, right? What's been the evolution of cloud managed services? The second one is, what do you see today as the latest trends from a cloud managed services perspective? So over to you, Sri.
Thank you, Tushar, for organizing this event, and thank you, Venkat, for that kind intro. And thanks to all for joining this webinar and to get to know the experiences of my experience as well, what is today with respect to cloud managed services. Thank you all. I'll just go to the questions posted to me by Venkat. Venkat, as you rightly pointed out, I have vast experience starting from back in 1990s when I started. And when it comes to managed services, right, I won't say cloud managed service yet, but it's when you say managed services started as early as when the services of IT has started. right? And then I'll start the evolution from 1990. That is at least 4 decades where I have visualized and I have experienced those things, right? Back in 1990s, we have services focused on managing on-prem system only, right? And then with the evolution, with the rise of cloud, AWS cloud, which I think in the mid of 2000, around 2005 or 2006, when cloud came into existence, and then it was the go-to for many decades now, right? So the companies have organizations have started going towards supporting on the cloud managed services. They formed the term cloud managed services, right? And then whereby they have started to support the cloud migration activities, wherein they ported from on-prem to cloud and then from supporting from there onwards, right? So the journey has started at that time onwards. And then over the past decades, right, when it on the 2000s and 2010, the mid of 2000, a lot of automations came into play, and then to stay like things like DevOps, and a lot of security postures have come into central. And as also, you know, we have witnessed that those businesses shifted to hybrid and multi-cloud environments over a period, right? So having said this, this is the evolution. Slowly it has come to till now. And then I will, before I go to the current trend, I will say that why we should be having cloud managed services. Why do we need a cloud managed service as such, right? So that is the main question that people might have with respect to managed services. Okay, I have my service provider. So what is this intermediate person that MSP is coming into play? What do they offer to us? So these are some of the questions that people might have lingering in their mind for the new startups. So most of you might attending the call might know what it is AMS and what is MSP, but I'm starting over. Since it's a webinar, I want to dig down to get to know from the bottom of what it is, right? For any startup or any business organization, right, we want them to focus on their core activities. See, when they concentrate on their core activities, like it will be it reducing their cost of operations, right, from moving from on-prem to cloud, and then improve their efficiency with respect to whatever the resources they have in hand. They can probably what they can do is they can engage them from IT. Whereas they leave that core the support activities to MSPs, and then they can concentrate on their core businesses, where the cloud managed services team basically assists in technical support to automate and enhance the cloud businesses, right? So when we say managed services, what do these people do? What do these MSP do? They take care of the organization's infrastructure, their securities, their backups and recovery activities, the network connectivity, any application, the databases, and not to mention that it is a 24/7 monitoring activities, the biggest thing that the managed services team has to do. And then the reporting and seeing that the compliance is maintained, right? And also with respect to cost and support management, right? Whenever there is a troubleshooting or whenever the new stuff comes up, right, we have to do the patching. See, all these things has an SLAs. So when you say SLA, people have to maintain, the business has a lot of SLAs with the customers, to their customers will have say SLAs driven, and they want their applications or whatever, it has to run through 24/7 for them also, right? So they don't want to go down on it. See, with the help of this managed services team, people help on getting into action. So in a nutshell, I think I have answered you, Venkat. Is there any other thing that I want to touch upon for you?
Absolutely, Sriram. I think you covered. I think one of the important part about the evolution is on-prem to cloud. That itself is an evolution, right? Because as you rightly pointed out, what we know is hardware maintenance to be taken care of, data center to be taken care. I think that's a managed services that we have seen, but slowly it has evolved because people are moving on to cloud. That's obviously a different animal, different dynamics to manage as well. And that's where the evolution started. Around the cloud, I think there are quite a few applications that are built. I think what I also feel is if a company is manufacturing tires, that's their core business. The core business is not IT. That means that the company can take care of manufacturing tires while Securekloud can safely manage their infrastructure, right? So I think that's what in a kind of nutshell. And also, I think you told something about the latest trends as well, right? I think dovetailing to that effect, what I feel is see, today artificial intelligence is in every walk of our life, right? I was just watching the election results in the morning. One of our colleague, Mr. Shiv Kumar, shared a picture where I think the election analytics are big time used on AI, right? AI is used big time on election results as well in terms of analytics and so on and so forth. While I don't want to get into politics, but I think AI is getting used onto the election analysis as well. And AI is into every walk of our life, be it in our own life as an individual or as a corporate employees as well. So what are you seeing the trends of artificial intelligence, I would say, invading the cloud managed services piece right now? Is there
Yeah.
anything that you want to throw light on that?
Yeah, definitely, Venkat. Thanks for bringing that. See, when I was talking about the evolution, I just passed over to talk about the latest trend because the AI portion, right? See, in the last trend that we had IoTs coming in, right? And then the latest current trend is the generative AI, where I will speak with respect to managed services. The reason is the AI is a very big subject, and then there is I think it's a subject to cover as such. It's a different webinar. So, but how it is being encompassed within the current managed services, right? So it will give you the AI will give you the predictive insights when you do managed services. Prediction is one of the foremost thing that it has to be given to the customer, because when the system has to be running up and up all the time, right? The predictive insights will give you a edge over the other customers, their competitors, right? And then to do the kind of an optimization, when I say whether it is a resource optimization or it could be a cost optimization, right? See, AI plays a very major role in these areas, right? So I would say these are the things that bring in some of the main area that you do. So, and then how it is being implemented in cloud managed services. That is the thing that people might be interested in knowing when it comes to managed services, right? See, AI for managed services can be incorporated or deployed between the routine tasks, right? Which will help in doing the troubleshooting, a kind of an activity. Whereas the troubleshooting activity, when it comes to the level 1 support, right? So what we do is we map that knowledge book to our AI, and then the AI runs in and checks whether this kind of an activity has been happened before, and then it brings down that information to the L1 support and automatically emails that information to back to the resource, and then so thereby it minimizes the thinking power of the level 1 engineer, whereas the repeated task, right? And then it also give an accuracy, and then and precision is done here. And then without much time loss, the solution is being given. And also one of the main things is the L1 support resource can concentrate more on enhancing their own skills, right? Yeah. So that is one thing that I see, and then what we do in CMS. And then see areas where we cover mostly are when it, as I mentioned earlier, right? It is on the predictive maintenance portion, right? It predicts the potential any system failures, allowing the people or resources to work proactively on the maintenance and minimize the downtime, right? That is one area. And then when it comes to scaling, right? Whether it's scale up or scale down or doing any kind of a resource or cost optimization, with the help of AI and the machine learning algorithms, it will analyze the usage pattern during the, for example, take example of any seasonal impact, like for example, Christmas is coming. For Chennai, it's going to be a Pongal time. So the business houses will analyze what is the need, what is the type of infrastructure that is needed.
Basically,
during
the
this
scale up
frame.
and scale down, right?
That's scale up and yeah. So these things will help. AI is helping the managed services to optimize the performances and cost. And the foremost, the third one, what I would suggest, think about is on the security and the threat detection, which is the foremost thing. I should have told this as the first point, because security and threat detection are one of the main thing, one of the things that every business house, because they can't lose any time frame. Their application has to run 24/7, right? So AI will detect the security threats by seeing any unusual patterns that is coming in, or any anomalies in the network traffic area, or any user activity that is a bad user activity, or any data access that is not has to be done, right? So these are the security detections. Also, when it comes to compliances, right? They say it could be a GDPR, it could be DPDP, it could be an HIPAA or whatever it is, right? So these compliances management, it helps a very large scale so that we can say business today needs this kind of a compliance management so that then they can run their business or they can take the business onto the higher level. So compliance management with respect to AI is that's one of the things that that we deploy it. And then, as you know, that the intelligent automation things like taking a business, be it taking a backups for the disaster recovery, or it's for any new patch that is coming up, or it could be any reportings through the customer to the stakeholders, right? So all these things, that's intelligent automation, you can name it, we can have it, right? So this kind of intelligent automation is helpful. And we have some things like data insights and analytics in the later portion of it, right? So not necessarily on the CMS front, but it can be used for any data as insights and analytics. So these are the things that generally comes into play with respect to deploying within the AI in CMS. Will help you in the businesses.
Thank you, Sriram. I think one of the points that you rightly covered was obviously every organization is running towards cost optimization, right? And every organization wants to be an early mover. Every organization, every enterprise would like to have the early mover advantage. And speed to market is extremely important. So, and when these seasonal stuff come up, as you rightly pointed out, the festive season in India, Christmas and obviously in US and other developed markets, you will have to scale up and then quickly you will have to scale down, right? Because the manufacturing obviously scales up to meet the demand. So it's going to be a supply and the demand, and then it scales down as well. So that means that they're going to really beef up the kind of IT infra. They're going to buy more of storage space on the cloud because they might have a lot of activity. They'll build a new application and so on and so forth. So hence, I think the company which is offering managed services being very close to that and cognizant of that fact and building processes internally to serve the customers are very, very critical. And I'm really happy that you mentioned that we do have, and also real-time artificial intelligence monitoring, checking, predictive maintenance is very, very important, right? Because as we always say, prevention is better than cure. It's like a cybersecurity, right? Cybersecurity is an insurance, right? You buy insurance, you never know what's going to happen. So, but that's an insurance for you in life. So I think the same way cybersecurity, the same way the predictive maintenance and artificial intelligence. Also, one thing that gives me, I think, more of happiness is Securekloud is not a system integrator. Securekloud is not an ISV, right? Securekloud is a technology company. That means that we do have cloud managed services, full-blown stack of services, but at the same time, we also develop products on AI, right? So that means it's the best of both worlds where Securekloud can bring in to the clienteles as well. I think thanks a lot, Sriram. I just thought, let me do a small kind of a sales pep talk in between your technical evangelism. Thanks a lot for giving me that opportunity.
Yeah. See, as you rightly said, Securekloud encompass all these elements that what I have spoke, right? So
absolutely, because obviously we will have to be faster to the market as well, right? The client demands are increasing day by day, and I always believe for you to stay relevant in the market, you obviously need to embrace the latest technologies coming in, and you will have to be slightly 2-3 steps ahead of the competition, also of the customers as well. I think we have a moral responsibility to play as a consultative role to the clientele, right? Nowadays, it's not about selling products, it's about being a consultant to the customer, right? Having said that, Sriram, in your overall experience, I'm sure that you might have seen or you might have served a lot of regulated industries, right? Healthcare is one of the most regulated industries we've ever seen. And obviously BFSI is regulated industry as well. And you'll have to abide by the laws of the land, right? Wherever you do business, you will have to abide by the laws of the land. And there are quite a few regulations, there are quite a few compliance. I may not get into the ease of business at this point of time. That's a different topic to cover. But I think regulations play a pivotal role for industries, for segments, for organizations. So how your cloud managed services kind of helps the customers from a governance and a compliance standpoint? Can you throw some light? I think what I'm asking is, how can business mitigate the risk? Take a small example, right? there is a cybersecurity hit that happens to a listed company. The listed company share comes down, right? Whereby the valuation of the company comes down. Suddenly a $1 billion organization becomes a $100 million organization, $1 billion to 100 million, right? So that's a huge downfall. And also it's a huge reputation risk. So investors are not going to invest, customers are not going to trade with you, right? So hence it's also a risk for the organization. It's not only they attacked by a cyber, but at the end of the day, it's going to be reputation, it's going to be valuation loss, revenue loss, board is going to lose confidence, shareholders are going to lose confidence, and so on and so forth. So what I'm trying to ask you is that, long story short, the governance and the compliance model, what do you feel the importance and how cloud managed services can give them that in a cocoon?
Yeah.
I hope
Thanks.
I covered it well for you, right?
Yeah, I understood the question and I know where you are coming to, Venkat. Thanks for this question. Actually, when I said right back in the 1990s, and then when it came to 2000 and 2010, right, this evolution, the governance and compliance played a very major role in taking up the cloud managed service. As such, not only cloud managed services, any cloud providers, right? So they started implementing those solutions into their cloud itself, right? So one is having those compliances within the application. The other one is how the infrastructure platform has that, right? So every, be it AWS or Azure or Google, right? I'm talking about the three major players in the cloud solution providers area. So they started ensuring that cloud resources are used securely. When I say securely, efficiently, and with compliance with both with the internal policies and as well as the entire external regulations, right? So it actually provides a structured approach for be it managing, monitoring, controlling for any cloud environment, and then which is especially important for cloud usage. As the cloud usage grows more, right, it becomes more complex. So when it came more, when it came more complex, right, there are areas that there are a lot of areas. It's not just one area, right? The governance and compliance plays a part in the security and compliance portion, right? Cost and management optimization area. The operational efficiency of automations, it's a resource and access management, risk management, all these areas, right? So yes, something or the other, it's been covered by the service providers, right? So when it comes to cost management and optimization, right, there are effective governance and frameworks for budgeting, tracking, cloud spend, and optimizing resources, right? These governance policies they have in place. And then automatically it will shut down any idle instances to control costs. So these are some of the governance that they have in the cost management area. When it comes to the main area of the security and compliance portion, right? See, the governance, these governance establishes a lot of guidelines for data protections, right? Be it any access control, for any regulatory compliances, or to have any help on to any sensitive data, right? It has to be secured. And then because all these activities, when it comes to a US government or it's an Indian government, nowadays, all these areas, right, it has to meet an industry standards. So for those things, right, like a GDPR, HIPAA compliances, SOC, or DPDP, all these compliances have been inbuilt within the cloud solution providers area. And then they have to enforce such policies. And with the help of the multi-factor authentication, right, and data encryptions, they have somehow they have mitigated the security risk. That is one of the things that they have done. And then when it goes to this also brings up the operational efficiency and the automation area. So with the governance, right, it streamlines the process by getting the best practices, by defining the best practices, by automating the routine tasks, by establishing the standard workflow across teams, right? Like well-architectured framework on all these things that has to ensure that the systems are configured consistently in a proper manner, right? So these things makes an operation more predictable and reducing the likelihood of any error that may crop up, right? So and then the main thing is resource and access management. When it comes to resources, right, the handling of resources with respect to the level of permissions, right? Who can interact with what environment, to reduce the risk of any unauthorized access and accidental misconfiguration, right? So these are the things that RBACs, that when you say RBAC, it's a role-based access control, I believe. And then integrity management solution are all governed through IAM systems, right? So these are the areas that and also the risk and management accountabilities. Some of the governance they maintain to track any risk, right? By enforcing some risk management, right? The governance ensures that the potential issues are identified upfront and it is addressed promptly to track it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Sriram. I think that was very descriptive as well. I think we are also seeing it, right? When we go and meet the clients, I think considering we're industry agnostic from our offering perspective, while we are too strong, way too strong in some of the segments like healthcare, manufacturing, and obviously logistics and so on and so forth. But I think customers also expect that, am I dealing with the right company, right? Am I dealing with the right partner who can deliver the compliance management seamlessly? Because there is no gray in compliance, right? It's black or white, right? You have to be spotless when it comes to compliance. You have to be impeccable to deliver the compliance. I think what I feel that our strength is, I think if you remember when we were trying to cater to a BFSI client last month when we picked up the project, which was $1 million, I think the BFSI client was expecting some of the SME subject matter expert to be part of the managed services team because a BFSI regulation compliance requirement is paradigmly different than a healthcare, right?
Correct.
So that means that within your team, you should have an SME who knows BFSI like in and out, right? And large conglomerates, large corporations look for tie-up or partnership with companies like us, and they come to us also because of our prowess in terms of multi-industry SMEs who are part of our company, right? Because that's what we render from a services perspective. You rightly called about HIPAA. You rightly called about HITRUS as well. I don't know how many managed services player today in the country have these gold standards of certification, right? Because HIPAA is like epitome from a healthcare perspective on certification. How many players in India today from a managed services perspective can deliver that to the client as well? I think thanks, Sriram. I think you really covered security and governance very, very clearly. I think we slightly missed about governance piece, right? I think we know that compliance we do, and also the AI that what you had built within the cloud managed services picks up all the algorithms and ensure it gives a very holistical, rounded compliance to the client. Either it's from BFSI, you have the algorithm, which is BFSI pre-fed. Either it's healthcare, you have that pre-fed. But talk about something about governance, right? I think why I'm asking this question, Sriram, is managed services has been here from the time of Adam and Eve, right? Yeah. So everybody says I do managed services. Everybody says I do this, I do that. What are the salient features that you feel which sets you apart, I think, from those crowd, from a competition perspective? And I also know that governance is one of the sweet spot that you always call about. You always talk so high about Securekloud's governance perspectives. Can you want to throw some light on the governance piece, Sriram?
Yeah. I see, before I'm moving into governance portion, right? The security challenges. This is also a part of the governance. When you say the team is well equipped to handle any security threat, because the people are mostly certified in most of the cloud front. And then they are also like people are certified on HIPAA and GDPR compliances areas also.
Yep.
Right. So any data breaches and unauthorized user, unauthorized access, right? The people can be nowadays with the shared environment, right? When I say shared environment, it could be multi-cloud environment, or it could be people sharing. For some of the organization want to do it from on-prem, and they want to do it to they have an integration with some of their preferred cloud, right?
Correct.
So these are the areas that make the thing vulnerable. But again, we are well mitigated to tackle those things with respect, with a strong with the team implementing a strong access control. See, when you say governance, right, implementing strong access controls, right, that is one thing. And then doing the data encryption portion of it, right? Automated security monitoring and any type of anomaly detections. Regular security, what our team, the governance portion is a regular security audits and compliance check the team does here. so that the continuous audit, be it a quarterly audit or it's a monthly audit, right? It helps the team to see where we are with respect to the security portion, right? And the governance helps here to put on a dashboard of things that. So what are the things that we have been covered? What is the security threats? What are the things that intruders have come into play here? And then how we have mitigated, how we have chased them away. So all these things that we have done it. Also, the employee training and awareness, that is, which is the most important thing, I believe, that because since there are insider threats also, so most of the customers will ask, what if one of your team member itself having a wrong access or wrong attitude do that, right? So we do a kind of an employee training and awareness. See, they need not do it wantonly, right? The unwantedly or unknowingly also they could have done something wrong, right? So we are putting on a governance, we are putting some processes around that to educate employees on security best practices, especially for any cloud usage or any access control, right? Thereby we reduce the insider risk, right?
Understood.
So, and then we are mainly our Securekloud team, right? The team of, be it a shared service model team or it is a dedicated team, right? So both this type of model, the resources adopt a zero trust security model, right? It assumes no entity, internal, external, right? Should automatically be trusted. So that is one of the thing. And then the mostly we do is on the backup and disaster recovery. We do have a process on what is the timeline that a backup has to be done. And then what is periodically we take things out and do the disaster drill. Yeah, proactive disaster drill also, right? So these are the things. And out of this box, right? And then apart from these drills, we also do disaster recovery as a service for some of the people. The MSPs do that kind of an activity, disaster recovery as such itself as a solution. So these are the main, some of the process that the governance that we do for this.
Fantastic, Sriram. I think, see, what more, which I think we have seen from, I think from the business side of it is, I think getting a project on managed services is easy, right? But I think sustaining is the most difficult piece, right?
Correct.
And that's where proper governance, watertight cadence around it, and so on and so forth. So finally, we can just all go back and apologize for one event, but one event might cause the entire company. Right? So it's extremely important, and I'm really thankful, I think, to you and your team of kind of managing. I think in my business experience here, I think we manage about 150, 200 clienteles across the globe. I think I would not say we've never seen an escalation, but I think that obviously will be an absolute bluff. But I don't think we've lost an account on managed services. I think that means that the managed services has been seamless, well stitched. And I also like the dashboard that we present to the client, the cadence that we do, very strong cadence every week, every quarter, and so on and so forth. I think, thank you, Sriram, for that. I think what I'm going to also check with you now is, see, I think today the market is very different, right? I think people have accustomed to working from home, but we're all going back, or we have gone back, right? But however, some are very smitten. That means that the workforce is very remote, right? Even now, the workforce is pretty remote. And also a lot of global capacity or capability centers are opening up in India, right? And that means that all these are managed remote. I think a corporation headquartered in US is obviously opening a GCC in India, in Chennai, right? That means that as managed services provider, you obviously should have a global footprint. You obviously should have a global reach to cater to your clients. So how is Securekloud poised to cater to the clients outside of India? I know that we do that, but I just want to hear it from you, Sriram. What's your capability on managing clients across the globe?
Yeah, see, the NOC center, right? We operate out of Chennai facility currently, right? It doesn't mean that we support only Chennai. It's a global coverage. When I say global coverage, we have customers across the globe, and then the governance of the team access to each and every customer through the dashboard, and then they have the customer environment properly aligned, and then they do the kind of an service to all these customers, right? So
today Securekloud supports.
See, we have two types of. Sorry, we have two types of model. One is the shared model, and then we operate out of a dedicated model, right? See, that shared model is a 24/7 team. which encompass with the service delivery manager, and then with an L1, L2, L3 support engineers, right? Who it's nowadays the things are becoming more cloud agnostic and then the business agnostic services, right? So the people are well trained to take up these activities, and then with a global presence, right? We have a global presence sitting from one location, right? But we cater our service to multiple locations, right? So because even all the service providers, there is service on the region based, right? So be it AWS or Azure, right? They are all region based. So so our services is extended to any region.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was asking. I think we cater to obviously India. US is the biggest market for secure cloud. We have customers in ANZ, we have customers in EMEA and APAC. I think we have, and also these are different industry clients, right? These are not from one industry, these are different clients. I think that's a fundamental strength that I think your team carries on the table, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be multi-location, multi-geographies, plus multiple discipline of industries as well, right? I don't think many managed services company or even larger players provide that, right? I'm kind of pretty happy to hear that, Sriram. I think the last bucket of phase of question that what I have, Sriram, is I think we've kind of heard about the evolution of managed services. We've kind of heard about the latest trend that's kicking in. We've kind of heard about artificial intelligence, how it is kind of getting into it and ensuring it's augmenting the entire process around managed services piece. How governance and compliance are stitched towards it, so important. How the multi-cloud environment, cloud agnostic environment, multiple geo support, NOC, obviously. NOC is super expensive, right? I don't think even many companies can afford to have a NOC. And I think people who are in this call, Securekloud has about 200 people strong from a managed services perspective. Cloud, that's a strength that we have, and all these team members scatter globally as well. And the NOC is state-of-the-art NOC is available in India, in Chennai. Having said that, Sri, I think we've come to the last part of our discussion, right? What do you see the future of managed services, cloud managed services? I think as a leader in cloud managed services for so many years, I think you've seen the evolution, you've seen the ups and downs, you've seen the new technologies, you've seen the managed services from a nut and bolt, and now it's intangible, right? It's cloud, right? What do you see the future of managed services in a 3-year down frame? From what do you see next year? What do you see next to next year in terms of coming up, in your opinion, right? And how are you making sure that secure cloud managed services stays relevant to cater to these trends that are coming up as well?
See the future of cloud managed services, right? See, it was living long and then it has continued to live long. So that is one of the theory that I have with respect to managed service. Anything you produce that needs a maintenance, right?
Of course.
So whenever something is born, that has to be maintained, right? So given that kind of a forum, what we have to think is how with more and business now today moving on to the cloud, they seek more advanced capabilities, right? When they see with like a newborn kids, right? It is not like a 60 kids, 70 kids. Now it is a 2000 kids, right? They have more intelligence built in, right? Same way, when the new business comes in, they look for newer things, right? They don't look for any primitive things, right? So having said that, right? So what I would think in future of CMS is any CMS, not only Securekloud. Say the thing is the automation and operations, right? So AI is going to stay. The IoTs and AI is going to one of the things that the AI-driven automation is going to be a massive role in simplifying the cloud management, right? The CMS providers is going to integrate AI to automate, and then there is going to be the heavy competition running across all the business houses here. That for sure. That is, whether be it a service industry or it is a product industry, right? So anything that is, it's going to be AI driven. So we have to better buckle up and run whoever it is. So we have to go through that. Yeah. And then see when it comes to and then one of the things that what we noticed, this is AI. The other thing is now previously back in 2000, right? People will be stick on to one single cloud. They will be in either AWS or they will be in Azure or in GCP, right? So they will do a cost comparison. They will see that whether I want to go to AWS or I want to go to Azure, right? But the strategy is slightly changing here. They're moving into multi-cloud nowadays, or it could be hybrid. And some people, right? So when I speak about cloud, right? So there are something behind also. So people are going, some people are going back to on-prem also. So those things, right? So what we are doing is it's
reverse migration.
Yeah, it's the cloud migration. The reverse migration should not happen.
I know.
So to do a mitigation of things, right? We encompass those things and then we do hybrid cloud strategies. So those strategies help people who want to stay on to cloud a bit. Say, for example, 40% they want to be on cloud and then 20% on any hybrid area or something on different location on-prem, right? So these things that we help people to do this kind of a managed services. We can't just say that I can't do on-prem managed services. I can do only cloud Azure services, or I can do. So there is a scope for everyone, everything here when it comes to multi-cloud and hybrid cloud strategies. And then the more and more things are coming up, the more and more security and compliances is going to come up. Very recently, the Indian government also brought in the DPDP, right, to challenge this HIPAA, where in the US customer does that. So we also have to do more on the DPDP, so the people have more areas to cover in the future.
Got it.
Right. And then comes the data analytics and the intelligence portion of it, right? Those areas that has to be covered very much here.
Okay.
And there are some green and sustainable cloud solutions, which is going to come with this. Slowly, it's getting awareness about it, right? I think I can speak more about it in some other webinars, because I myself have to learn more on that green sustainable solutions, right? And then now
every day something or the other is coming in. So all of us are in the learning mode. So
yeah. And then more about the specialization. See, currently, right, when I say it is not cloud agnostic, that's the strategy is slightly changing here. We have to be aware of any specific industry, right? So even though cloud managed services is cloud agnostic, but if you have any specific cloud industry knowledge, you are there. See, for example, if you were in the healthcare industry, then you can be a front runner in the healthcare industry, right? Or it could be an automobile industry, right? So having said that, there's no bottleneck for cloud managed services to run business agnostic, but it is more specific or more benefit if you are stick on to some, not stick on, but to learn more on the specific cloud industry, right? Or your team should be diversified to understand and then able to support on multiple industry. That would be great. So added strength. See, meaning that the more and more business subject, like business subject matter experts, like people should come in, and then we should engage them and work collaboratively, work with the managed services, right?
Understood.
So yeah, and some of the IoT integration is also coming up. So to answer your question, right, future of managed services is very good. And then it is people who want to take up on the support or doing any Kubernetes or any kind of managed services cloud computing area, right? They can blindly go and do that kind of an activity. They don't need to stick on any application. Previously, people used to do, hey, when I do Java or when I do this kind of a service, right? They will be recognized, not necessarily now, right?
Understood.
The future of CMS is very good. And it's on very safe hands of many customers like Securekloud. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it. I think what I also wanted to understand from you is we have another, I think, 7-8 minutes to go. What I wanted to understand, how you want the enterprises to prepare themselves, right? You spoke about AI, you spoke about multi-cloud, you spoke about hybrid, and so on and so forth, right? I think what do you feel? What will be your advice or your input or your insights to the customers or the enterprises to embrace the moving trend in the managed services? What they should do to keep them abreast?
Yeah. What I believe is any new business or even the existing business, right? They have to work on within proactive strategies, right? That build the resilience within the organization, right? They have to improve the flexibility, right? And then ensure it is properly aligned to the new technology and the new things that they have to open to embrace any new thing that is coming up in the business, right? They should be prepared. How they can do a preparation with respect to the newer things, right? They should be doing an investment in the skill development, right? And training their own resources, right? Ensure see whether they have any, they will be having, though they have an MSPs or people who are having MSPs also, right? That IT team should be up to date on what are the newer technologies coming in, right? Especially I spoke about the newer trend, the future is coming up with the multi-cloud management, right? On AI and automation. These areas, they should develop, they should try to invest their skill in the development and training areas. So how can they do that? They can do that by doing a lot of cloud certifications, right? So we need to encourage certifications in cloud platforms, right? Be it AWS or Azure or Google, I don't care about it. Be it could be in database or it could be networking. So they should be trained, and then a competency center has to be there so that the people churn in and then they can be moved out.
Center
or
of
they
excellence
can
kind of a COE.
yeah, so that is one thing. And then they should have an open mind to adapt to multi-cloud and hybrid cloud strategy. It's not that one single cloud, because the business has to be very competitive, right? So the speed is the agile. The speed is the one thing that makes the difference, right?
Of course.
So they have to be definitely adapt to evaluate cloud, look into various cloud providers. They should do a root cause analysis. They should do a cost comparisons with a lot of FinOps services coming into it. They should do a market study, and then so that they can build integration and capabilities within themselves, right?
Fantastic.
Having said this, they can also leverage on AI and automation, which is right away. If people who are doing a startups, right, they cannot do that right away, but they should step in to take into leverage AI and automation with collaborating with the managed service providers, right? Like MSPs, like Securekloud can definitely help business houses to have a head start to move into the next level, right? So thereby, they don't need to make much of an investment in doing this, but they are readily on the go, right? They can run on their own. And that's what they have to choose, a specialized MSP, right? As like Securekloud. Sorry about my throat. So with the managed service providers, because that is managed service providers have the kind of a multi-cloud expertise, right? So that they can give a consultancy service to them, and then they should embrace those things and then move along with the MSPs, attending this kind of webinars, right? So they understand what it is and how the cloud is going to help them grow their business, right?
Understood.
And basically, any business house, right, should have an SLAs, right? So if they establish a clear strategy, if they have a clear SLAs, right, because there should be a clear plan, they should have a clear expectation for any system, right? So I think business can definitely prepare themselves on that front.
Hey, thank you, Sriram. I think that was a very comprehensive input from you on how business services can help. I think I'm sure that over about 40-45 minutes, I think we kind of discussed the evolution of cloud managed services, how cloud managed services changing the landscape, what are the customers should do to kind of keep them abreast, and also what's the investment. I think more important, you kind of spoke about skill, right? Skill development is extremely important. Most of the organizations have learning and development to ensure how they continuously thrive to keep their employees relevant from a skill set perspective. I think that's pretty much important. And also investment. I think if there is any CEO on this webinar, I would humbly request them to have more budgets scooped from a cloud managed services perspective, because I know that you guys will be frugal, but the more you invest, the more is what it is from a future perspective, because technologies are becoming expensive, guys, right? By the way, it's just not cheap anymore, right? As vegetable prices keep skyrocketing, I think technology prices are skyrocketing as well. And for regulated industries, I think it's extremely important for you to go for the right managed services provider who can manage those regulations, those risks, mitigate those risks if required, preventive maintenance, predictive analysis, and so on and so forth. And also marinate that with an artificial intelligence. I think at Securekloud, we do all of that, right? I think with this, I would obviously end this conversation. Thanks a lot, Sriram. It was wonderful. It was highly informative. As I always say, insight is very important, right? The insights are extremely important. As I always say, data without insight is an hallucination. So it was amazing to listen to you, amazing to hear to you. I think people can reach out to you separately as well to have more
Definitely.
learning and know-how about managed services. So we've come to the end of it. Tushar, I pass it over to you for any Q&A session. We have about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So if there is any Q&A, either for me or obviously Sriram is a hero of the show, if there's any question that he could take it as well. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Sriram. Thank you, Venkat. That was a wealth of knowledge that we gained from this discussion. So I'll just quickly open this discussion for our attendees. If you guys have any questions, you can obviously put them in the chat and our experts would quickly answer you.
And also just one word of caution. I know a lot of internal employees of Securekloud have joined as well. So the Q&A is only for the external customers, not for internal. Internal, you can always call us, right? On a lighter note anyway.
Right. But I think it seems to be pretty crystal clear. I think we don't have any doubts regarding the discussion.
Yeah, of course. I think I'm kind of sure there will be a lot of questions. I'm sure there are a lot of things to answer. Still, there are areas that are gray, could be gray as well, because nothing is perfect. Things keep moving. But I would strongly urge, strongly envisage the attendees. If you have any questions, please pass it over to us offline. And our entire endeavor is to ensure that we bring you up to speed on these and then ensure that we serve you better. I think why we're asking you to ask questions is to make sure that we serve you better. I think managed services is as such as services. So we'll have to serve you and help you serve us better as well. So thanks a lot for all the participants joining in today. Thanks a lot for the attendees. Thanks Tushar for organizing it. Sriram, I think you rocked the show, right? Thank you. Thanks a lot, everyone. And have a great week ahead and festive greetings. Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year to each one of you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you,
Venkat.
guys.
Thank you, Tushar.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, team, for attending.
Thank you.
Join us in shaping the future of digital transformation. Visit our website to learn more and connect with our team.